Years old and I am in $40,722 in debt.
I'm in about $248,000 in debt, and I work at Target on a Target paycheck. Let me explain.
I'm in $71,000 worth of debt right now.
I'm in $135,092.74 in debt.
I was hiding over $55,000 worth of credit card debt from my husband over about a year span.
Why did 21-year-old me feel the need to have 7 credit cards? I don't know.
But it feels like credit card debt just keeps shooting up. I mean, in late 2024, American credit card debt hit the $1.21 trillion mark, the highest level recorded by the Fed in 20 years.
CNBC has exclusive data from the National Federation for Credit Counseling and the Harris Poll showing how Americans are struggling with debt and how it cuts across all income levels.
Data shows that many Americans are missing the mark on executing financial basics like budgeting, building emergency savings, paying bills on time, even though they give themselves top grades on their knowledge of personal finance. According to the National Foundation for Credit Counseling survey that was conducted by the Harris Poll, more than half of Americans do not have a budget. 2 in 5 carry credit card debt month to month with an average balance of about $6,500.
So here we're going to be talking about credit card debt. Credit card debt is at its highest in U.S. history. At one point, we have over $1 trillion nationwide in credit card debt. We can buy basically all of the NBA teams if we wanted. And there's so many reasons why this is happening. Obviously, interest rates, the way we spend our money, the kind of society that we have where we are just spending so much, even though we don't really have it. Some things we need, some things we don't. Things are getting worse and worse. Let's watch some videos.
I'm in about $248,000 in debt, and I work at Target on a Target paycheck. Let me explain.
That's a ridiculous amount of money owed by a single person that's not running some sort of company. That's just a lot of money. But this is not something that is unusual, especially if you go to school, you go to college. You hope that you're going to get that money back somehow.
And that includes my mortgage and my car loan right now, so I don't have any student debt. Thank God. Bought my house for $210,000, and it's now about $161,000. Mortgage payment for every month is about $1,400, and I signed at a 6.38 interest rate. It's honestly a little high. I signed a little bit after COVID. I really wish I got that COVID house rate. I did not. So sad. My car is about $38,000. I put about $16K down, and I owe about $18,000. We love a car payment. I'm like, this is the first time I had a car payment, and I'm crashing out, but that's okay. Luckily, TikTok is paying for my car, so thank you guys. I love you guys for that. And a 72-month loan for my car, which I hope to pay off early, but that brought it down to 6.29 APR, and then my monthly payments are about $308, which honestly is not too bad for a brand new 2025 car. That brings the grand total to like $250,000 in debt. However, I've paid some of that off obviously in the house and the car, so I'm only in like $180,000 of debt working at Target. That's really not that bad. Brings like the grand total to $250 in debt. However, like I said, I did pay some stuff off in the house and in the car, so I only really owe like $180. So girl math, that's doing really well. And luckily I don't have student loans, so that is really, really nice.
I mean, I understand that she has somewhat of a plan, but what's confusing is that, yes, you may be doing well on TikTok. Unless you're getting millions and millions of views, I don't know how much money you can actually generate compared to another platform. And on top of that, working at Target, no disrespect for Target, but that's a lot of money. Your main job is to work at Target while you have a mortgage to pay. I'm not sure where this person lives, but you have a mortgage to pay. You just bought a brand new car. I see you have an Apple Watch. This is why a lot of us fall in debt. And I'm not immune to this. Your finances is based on your decisions. And if you make bad decisions, you fall into debt. If you make good decisions, you can maintain and pay off the debt as soon as possible. I would be low-key crapping my pants if I had debt working at Target. You know, owning a house is a flex, but working at Target, but no student loan debt. I understand. I mean, you rather have a mortgage than being stuck with student loans. Is Target salary worth it? I'm about to get a job for seasonal. I got my engineering degree and the market is cooked. Sorry about that. And she says any job at this moment is doing better than unemployment, which makes sense. If you're working at Target, you probably should live beneath your means. And I think that's for everyone. Too many people are doing things above their means, and that's why they're falling into credit card debt, especially massive credit card debt.
My life has officially gotten out of control, so let's talk about it so you feel better about yours. As of this morning, I have $186,056.76 worth of debt. That is almost $200,000 worth of debt. I know. Now that number by itself is just so large and so overwhelming that every time I look at it, I kind of just ignore it and I just move on with my day, and then I swipe my credit card and I buy something else.
And that's the worst way of doing it. That is the worst way of handling it. And one of the biggest issues is when people have problems, instead of at least going at the problem, figuring out what to do, making a plan, people just ignore it. They push it away. They want future versions of themselves to deal with the problem. And then the problem is with debt, especially credit card debt, the interest rates start compounding in the wrong direction, right? Usually when you want compounding interest, you want it to your advantage when you're investing money and getting money back with interest, not owing more money. And when you decide to not do anything and you kind of just have this paralysis, things just get worse.
Because I don't even know really what to do about it at this point, but I am nothing if not ambitious. And what my ambition is telling me this morning is that we're gonna fix this and we're gonna take care of this one way or another. Of that $186,000 of debt, I have $54,597.36 in credit card debt, just credit card debt. And that's what we're going to tackle first. I am giving myself 52 weeks starting November 1st to pay off all $54,500 worth of credit card debt. So November 1st, 2025 to November 1st or October 31st, 2026, I am going to pay off all let's round it and say all $55,000 worth of credit card debt. Now, is that even possible? I have no idea. That's a lot of money. I don't even know if I'm physically capable of doing that, but I'm going to spend the next year trying. I'm going to try every side hustle under the sun. I am going to throw as much money at it as I can, and I am going to get those credit cards down to zero if it is the last thing I do. My plan is to start on November 1st and to update weekly on how much I've made on side hustles, and then update monthly on where we are with our debt breakdown and paying off our credit card.
It's good to have that realization that you have to take care of it, but I think you need more details on exactly how you do it. And it should be amount that you pay per month. You could say I'm gonna throw everything at it, but I think a real detailed plan of how you're gonna do it per month or per paycheck is more realistic, rather than, I feel like it's similar to when someone says, I want to lose, a bunch of pounds. I want to lose a certain amount of pounds. I'm just gonna just do it. I'm just gonna diet and exercise. But if you have more of a detailed plan of how often you're gonna work out, what's your calorie count of each meal you're gonna have, more details in what you're doing, I think that makes more sense. Someone came to said I was $25,000 in credit card debt, filed bankruptcy. It's all been discharged, and my credit score is 750 again. Yep, bankruptcy. That is nature's do-over, we say, right? Girl, no way. File for bankruptcy and consolidate your loans. Don't waste your hard-earned money. Billionaires write off their stuff. So can you. It's your constitutional right. Any money you should earn should go to retirement. No matter how much you effed up, you can always file for bankruptcy. Hey, at this point, you do what you gotta do if it makes sense. I know usually it takes a very long time for that stuff to get discharged. I mean, back in the day, it was like, 10 years? I mean, you could just take it on yourself to really show some discipline and get it down. It's possible, but it also shows what kind of person you are. Are you easily discouraged? I mean, it's a whole different situation here. What did you possibly buy? That's a good question. Let's see what she has to say about that. And she didn't answer. She just liked the comments. So I guess you're just liking the comments. And another question. This doesn't include a house? Nope. I'm just nosy, but wondering why. Why you put so much on credit cards? Let's see if she answers. Of course not. So most likely in this situation here, if I had to say so myself with this particular person, I hope that she actually gets it done. But with no plan, your debt has nothing to do with anything beyond or in any investments. Most likely she may not make it. Just going by a little bit of what we're seeing here. I mean, it's great that she is trying to get to that journey, but if she's still spending money on credit cards, then she's not going to get out of that situation.
I am 28 years old and I am in $40,722 in debt, and I want to talk about it. And before I break down my debt, I just want to say, growing up, my family, we didn't have those money conversations. I didn't have anyone in my life that could teach me, about all these financial things that I'm starting to learn now. But like when I was young and I started getting credit cards, like I didn't know any better. I was so naive. Why did 21-year-old me feel the need to have 7 credit cards? I don't know, but it happened and now I'm here because of it. And I just really want to talk about it, and I want to kind of help break this negative outlook on talking about money that I've had most of my life. And I'm just tired of feeling shameful and embarrassed about my debt. And
which I understand, and it's pretty. I think it's one of the issues that we have as a society, especially if you have parents that didn't really teach financial literacy. I think that's one thing that we don't have enough in this country. Most of the schools don't teach it, especially in lower income areas, especially in the hood. It's all about spend, spend, spend. You want to show out. You want to spend your money on the latest phones, the latest sneakers, the latest clothes, while you're still living in the places that we live in. That we don't exercise delay, that certain things shouldn't be brought until you are able to buy both of them, basically, or at least that you have your priorities taken care of, that you not spending all of your money, that you are living beneath your means. That's something that is not taught, especially in the Black community, where it takes a long time. But even me, still trying to get my stuff together and finally getting, a decent credit score. It takes discipline. It takes sacrifice. It takes realizing that a lot of stuff that people are buying is just unnecessary, boring garbage. Buying the stuff on Amazon, the cheap products, the Temu products, but even some of the clothes, even some of the video games, even the latest phones. Like, who cares? All these phones are the same. At this point in my life, what I spend my money on, or at least what I get the most excited to spend my money on, is what can make me money. What product, what service that I can get that can make my life easier and can generate money rather than buying the toys or whatever.
I truly believe you take away something's power by talking about it. So I don't want my debt to have this power over me anymore. So I'm going to talk about it because it's part of life. So many people are in debt. They just don't talk about it. So I am here to talk about it, and hopefully this can help someone that is also struggling with the same thing, and we can get through it together. Or I don't know, as I learn, I can share what I learn out there. But yeah, here's the breakdown on my debt. And mind you, I don't have a car, so I don't have a car loan or anything. And I don't have a mortgage or anything. So all of my debt is loans, student loans, and credit card debt. To start with my loans, I have an Upstart loan, which is $11,891. And I have a SoFi loan, which is $18,630. And then I have my student loans, which is $8,370. And then for my credit cards, I have a Best Buy credit card that has $1,685 on it, my Chase credit card, which has $145 on it, and then my Apple credit card, which I regret ever getting this card, but I have $4,205 on it. All right, so how did we get here? How did I let this happen? I honestly, starting young with all the credit cards that I had, I just fell into the, rat race. And going to stores, it was always, if I saw something I wanted, I just got it. And I was like, I'll just put out my credit card and I'll figure it out later, or I'll pay it off, whatever it was. And then sometimes I would pay it off. Sometimes I ended up spending too much that I couldn't pay it.
And that's the problem. I think that's where we all get stuck with, why we continue to fall in this credit card debt. And we kind of all know the right answers, but we just don't want to do them. Yes, most of us don't learn money skills. School's supposed to be teaching us how to divide fractions, but how to avoid a 28% APR. People don't understand the minimum payments are complete traps, that interest rates compound daily, and missing ones can tank your credit, right? And then with her, it looks like that it wasn't necessarily about a mortgage, it was that lifestyle creep, right? Oh, people see certain things like 0% for 12 months. Oh, only $40 a month. Oh, it's rewards. I'm making money. Then boom, this person has 7 credit cards. They have all the newest phones. They have $4,000 on Apple. So I guess it was just Apple phones or whatever. And you're going on vacations. You're doing all this stuff with no plan. No plan. And this is why people fall into these situations.
And I did it all over again. For me, the little purchases here and there, $50 here, $50 there, $100 there, like it adds up. And if you're not tracking and if you're not truly understanding what's coming in and what's going out, you kind of just get lost and you don't even realize. And before you know it, you're in a situation where you don't even understand how you got there, but you know how you got there. And it's not what I just want to say, it's not worth it.
Hi friends, here's a financial update for you guys because honestly a lot of things have happened in the past 24 hours and none of it is good news. If we haven't met before, I'm Sam. I'm over $93,000 in debt and I'm trying to tackle this debt early, pay it off early so that way I could surprise my husband. Unfortunately, life has been hitting us really hard this past week, but I promise to share all the highs and lows of my debt payoff journey, so let's get into it. First off, today is payday for my husband. We did get his paycheck, but unfortunately, the paycheck was really short. It was not anywhere close to what we were hoping, expecting, or honestly needed it to be. It was a day short because of the day that we were all in the hospital with our son last week, and his boss had said that it would be a paid day off, although it wasn't. He did not get paid for it. So hopefully my husband can talk to them and we can actually get paid for that day. But as of right now, his paycheck is short. I will make a follow-up video going into the whole paycheck breakdown and details of his paycheck and how we're going to budget it this week. So last night we got hit with a pretty hefty bill from our mortgage company about our escrow. Our escrow is short. Of course, I feel like it's short every single year. If you're a homeowner and you have an escrow account and it's short too, always let me know I'm not alone. Thankfully it wasn't as short as previous years because we've been short like $2,500 before. This year it was short $565.31. So we have to pay that $565 by November 1st or else our mortgage payment for every month will go up.
And that's one of the also really unfortunate things when you are in heavy credit card debt. Every single problem gets bigger and bigger and more overwhelming because you still have this heavy anvil tying you down as you're trying to swim up to go back up to the surface. And it's so heavy that every other situation, obstacle that comes to you makes it harder and harder to actually get to the surface. So even minor problems that people have where, you don't get paid one day, that's a mistake, or there's a hospital bill, or since you don't have emergency funds, every single issue continues to fall. All of a sudden, your car engine lights pop up. It's always something happening. And when you are in the credit card debt situation, every problem becomes bigger and bigger.
I recently posted about the fact I'm 26 years old and I'm in $95,487.73 worth of debt, and I want to talk about it. Up until 24 hours ago, I did not know that was actually the total of all of my debt, credit cards and student loans. That number also does not include my auto loan, and if we are adding in my auto loan, the total number is $110,938.83. Since totaling up all of my debt, I don't think I've actually gotten one good breath of oxygen in the last 24 hours. I feel like there is an elephant sitting on my chest, and I don't think I can sit still because all I keep repeating is $95,487.73. All of this debt was racked up through decisions I made between the ages of 18 and 26. My first associate's degree I got from a community college and I didn't have to pay for it because of the Pell Grant, but I decided to go to a university and got my bachelor's degree, which is where I really started to rack up the debt. Then in the last 2 years, I decided to finish a nursing degree at a community college in the last 2 years, but that's where I started to rack up even more debt. What really sucks is realizing that the majority of these student loans is not from tuition. It's actually from living expenses and living way above my means. My debt comprises of 2 credit cards, 5 federal student loans, and 5 private Sallie Mae loans. I can handle the federal student loans, but when I tell you Sallie Mae is bending me over and not in a way I like, it's actually insane. Sallie Mae is genuinely evil and they prey on young students. And the reason why they take advantage of young students is because they know if you're reaching out to a private loan like that, you genuinely need it. Out of the 5 Sallie Mae loans I have, one of the interest rates that is the highest is 16.28%.
Damn. And that's where the issue comes, the interest loans. This is how they make their money. They need it to compound significantly. And with young people who don't know what to do, most of us don't, this is how they really make that money. So 16%, yeah, it's going to basically continue to snowball into a situation that is going to sink you. It's going to bury you in this debt.
The lowest interest rate I have with Sallie Mae is 9.88%. Now, my federal student loans are between 4 and 6%, which I think is manageable. Although I had parents who would tell me what I should or shouldn't do, I never had anybody really sit me down and fully teach me financial literacy. I never had anybody sit me down and really explain to me the scope of what I was doing and what it would look like in the future when I had to pay for it. In the moment, all of the student loans just felt like fake money because they just kept coming and I just kept spending. I don't regret any of the experiences I've had between the ages of 18 and 26 or any of the things that I've done, but I do wish that I managed my finances way better than this. I think what's even more sad is a lot of these student loans were going to rent, which my rent was around $1,200 a month, and that's been consistent over the last 2-3 years. Thankfully, I do have a finance bro as a boyfriend, and he is really great at managing money and managing wealth, and so I am working with him to do a snowball effect. If I snowball all of my loans at the current rates that they are without consolidating them, I can pay all of this off by 2032. It's really sad because I'm excited about starting my first nursing job next month, but at the same time, I know that all of the money I'm making is going to debt. I'm turning 27 this year, and I wish I could be thinking about starting a family or getting married or buying a house, but really, I can't think about anything but paying off this debt. The last thing I would want to do is bring a child into this world while I have debt hanging over my head. So it almost feels like my life is kind of on hold right now, but I feel like it's even more motivation to just pay this off as quickly as possible.
That's life sometimes, where decisions that you make, you have to pay for it in one way or the other. And with this person right here, she literally has to pay for it. And that's how it is with anything. Accountability, understanding that you did something wrong. It may have been some circumstances, maybe you didn't have the right amount of information, maybe you didn't have the right amount of support, or you just wanted to spend as much as you can. You realize that now you have to pay. But if you stay with the plan and stay disciplined, you can get it done.
You guys have a lot of questions about my $30,000 credit card debt, and I have some answers. First question that I have here is, why do I not qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy? I did my research and I found out that to qualify for Chapter 7, I need to pass a means test, and in Texas, the gross income limit for that is $6,000. And since I am married and I live with my husband, both of our incomes would be considered for that, and we make way more than $6,000 a month gross. And so because of that, I would not pass the means test and I would not qualify for Chapter 7. Chapter 13 maybe with a finance plan, but I still don't think that that would be the most beneficial, so I'd rather just try and pay off this debt on my own.
Not enough information here. Maybe she'll finish it. So there was no mortgage. Is it student loans, or like when you have $30,000 in debt or tens of thousands of dollars in debt and it's not based on a student loan or a mortgage? That's a big issue because it shows that your spending was so outrageous, just buying crap, that you're stuck in a situation. Now, I don't know if this factors in car notes. I don't think a lot of these people are factoring their car note, except the last person we just talked about. So these people are just spending and spending and spending and having these heavy amounts of debt so early in life. It's crazy.
The next question is debt consolidation loans. I do not qualify for those, or personal loans, because my credit utilization is way too high. No bank is going to approve me. I literally have no other option than to just work hard, sacrifice, and make extra payments to my cards until I can pay them all off. Another thing I saw someone comment on that video was that I need to pay off my credit card debts from highest interest to the lowest interest, and I'm choosing to do the snowball method, which is basically paying off the smallest balance first, giving all the minimum payments to all the other credit cards, and making additional payments to my smallest debt. And once I finish with that smallest debt, I will move on to the next smallest debt. Being in debt is not a good feeling, especially not $30,000 worth of credit card debt at the age of 24. So I'm going to try my best to get out of this as soon as possible.
I've had no hope. I've had no... Sorry.
It's okay.
It just seemed like I'm just going to live on this planet and do the best I can and barely survive.
You're not doing the best you can.
You're right.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. I see it's Caleb Hammer. Are these stories real? I'm being completely honest. I don't know if I've heard that. Is these acting situations or this is real? Let's say if it's real. just for this video, some people get into that pity party. Oh, I'm doing the best I can. And you know this, I'm sure you have friends and family or that one of them that you know, they'll give you that pity party and say they're doing the best they can, but you know that you notice those Amazon boxes showing up at their house, that they always have nice clothes on, that they always going out, taking vacations. So many people are broke and on vacations. So many people are at concerts, at arenas, watching sports teams. A lot of people are in debt, but they just keep spending. They make sure they have the latest sneakers. They have the long lines at the Apple store when the next iPhone comes out. So are people really trying their best, or they're just forgetting about their debt, or they're forcing themselves not to think about the debt by buying more stuff?
I'm beginning to see that. It's like peeling off the layers of an onion. So, you experience trauma of any kind. Death of a spouse, doesn't matter. Whatever it is.
Sure.
You lose your mom, whatever happens.
Absolutely.
And if you're self-aware, you start peeling back the layers of the onion and trying to regain life and not just survive, but to live. And so I'm at a point where I'm waking up to the fact that, one, I've chosen a lot of things that in the moment were coping mechanisms.
Right now.
Right now?
Because the TJ Maxx was right now. I don't need to talk about a few years ago, and we can if you want, but that's not what concerns me. What concerns me right now is that.
So also dealing with these situations in terms of credit card debt and buying things to satisfy yourself psychologically, a really good book that I recommend that I read a couple years ago was The Psychology of Money. You can go on YouTube. There's people who've talked about it. There's book reviews. There's somewhere you could summarize it. It was a really cool book that I was able to check out and understood the reasons why we spend money, why and the problems and the issues that we have. And a lot of it is that we use money in terms of we spend money sometimes to make ourselves feel better. And a lot of those times it's a complete waste of money. So the problem is with a lot of this credit card debt stuff, the treat yourself mentality turns into bill collectors treating you like a missing package. People want the lifestyle without the income. People live above their means. Too much of us are doing that. And it looks like the system is designed for us to do so. If you don't have any savings, you can't handle any kind of emergencies, it's going to be a complete disaster. Most Americans don't have $500 saved. So one emergency, swipe a card, interest cycle begins. Now you're drowning in debt. And these companies want you in debt. That's the part that most people don't realize. Credit card companies literally will raise rates quietly. They will kill you with late fees. They love you when you only pay the minimums, and they want to keep you in this cycle forever. You're not just a customer. You are an income stream. Our income is not meeting up to inflation at this point, right? So the cost of living is forcing people to rely on cards. You don't have the financial education in schools. You have the social media pressure and the lifestyle creep coming in. Companies designed the debt to be a trap, and then people are using credit for survival, not luxury. Minimum payments aren't just enough. They're just bait. We're cooked if we continue to follow the same path. So people out there, I'm not a financial advisor at all, but I think it's still a good idea to check out other people's stories to really drive home that if you have some debt, even if it's a little bit, to take care of it because you don't want to be drowning in debt. And in terms of if you need help, go get professional help. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.